Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. It's the 15th of May, so we're halfway through the month, if I've done my counting right, which it's counting, it's math, probably not right. But let's say howdy to everyone that's here. And thank you, Tammy Bogart, for becoming a new member. I have your tag right here. And thank you, Wolfram, for always doing your modly mod duties. So good morning, Tammy and Wolfram. And Carol Sue Scott, 80s Music Man, Neon Gamer, Greedy Bloke, and Lexi. Good morning. As always, we start the day with shenanigans. But it seems like justice, though the mill grinds slowly, it does grind relentlessly, and someone's in for perjury. Former county clerk in the Murdaugh murder trial has been charged with obstruction of justice and misconduct. Well, I mean, is she gonna write a book about it? The former county clerk, or clerk of court, who read the guilty verdicts against notorious double unaliver Alex Murdaugh, is now facing multiple felony charges. Rebecca Becky Hill was arrested Wednesday morning in Colton County, South Carolina, and charged with obstruction of justice and 2 counts of misconduct, according to court records. She is also charged with 1 count of perjury in Richland County, South Carolina. 2 of the charges are related to the Murdaugh 2023 trial. Hill was released on her own, recognizance, according to Colton County jail records. Now, she is accused of making available photographs that were sealed evidence, which prevented, obstructed, impeded, hindered, or potentially impeded and hindered the administration of justice during Murdaugh's trials for the murders of both his wife and son, according to an arrest warrant for the obstruction of justice charge. Now, Hill was also accused of allegedly using her position as the clerk of courts to promote her book. Quote, or the book was Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders, resulting in the one of the misconduct charges, according to the arrest warrant. Now, I remember there were a couple people during, this book fiasco that said, this could be a bad idea. But I mean, there you go. In Richland County, Hill is also facing perjury charges for false, misleading, or incompetent testimony that she gave during evidentiary hearings to establish if Murdaugh should get a new trial. Hill allegedly lied under oath during testimony when she asked, Did you allow anyone from the press to view sealed exhibits by the former state chief of justice, Jean Toll? And she responded, No, ma'am. Now, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, which released the arrest warrant, has been investigating Hill since early 2024 over allegations of jury tampering in the Murdaugh trial and whether she used her elected position for personal gain. Now, Murdaugh's attorney, Dick Harpootlian, and Jim Griffin told CNN in a statement that the charges were not surprising to him. We were aware of the charges filed against Becky Hill, and while these developments are serious, they're not surprising. We have long raised our concerns about her conduct during the trial and after the trial, and this arrest is further, others underscores the need to protect the integrity of the judicial process. Every defendant is entitled to a fair and impartial trial, and we look forward to Alex Murdaugh finally getting fair treatment, his attorney said. So she's in jail. I don't know whether this is going to lead to a retrial. This is all going through courts and things like that. What I will say is it does underline that anyone in a position of power, from a clerk to anyone in the court, can affect the trial and therefore should be held to the highest levels of integrity. Now, integrity does apparently have a different definition if you are in Canton. So I would look up the Canton dictionary to figure what integrity means, because all I can figure what integrity means in Canton is 10% of a half-assed job. Now that's just mine. That's just my assessment of what integrity means in Canton. 10% of a half-assed job, so a 10% half-assed job. I don't know. That being said, I will look for more updates on this. I don't know that I expect anything to really happen to her other than a fine, if I'm being realistic. That being said, if this does lead to another Alex Murdaugh trial, unless it is the judge that says, "Bring the jury in," I don't know that I'll be watching. Well, you always have to plan these exchanges in the best or better places. A Texas mom allegedly, and I mean, I don't know if that's the wig, but them are some criminal eyebrows. I have already told y'all I profile on eyebrows alone. And, these are worn in eyebrows. Although I am jealous that her cat eye eyeliner is, they are siblings or twins. Mine are always distant cousins. That being said, a Texas mom allegedly brought weapons and gear for young son oh, to take care of have a mass casualty incident at a school in exchange for babysitting his siblings. So, yes, if you heard that right, a mother, in exchange for her oldest child watching his siblings, was going to bring both tactical gear and force multipliers for her son to do a mass incident at school. Now, I don't typically like to, judge other people's parenting, but um let me just show you this is what happens. This is why we're going to get this man and I done warned you. I warned y'all all the time.
The key keep its grove, thou gloaming shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Now, I'm probably going to purgatory for commenting on Jesus's six pack, but I didn't try to let my son do a mass casualty incident in a school in exchange for watching his daggone baby siblings, which you're the mom and you should be watching them. Look, I'm telling y'all, I have not figured out how to be kind to morons. And if the rapture happens, I'm staying here. And if I get stuck with Nicolas Cage, this is going to be an issue. A Texas mother allegedly brought her young son weapons and tactical gear in exchange for babysitting his siblings so he could fulfill his dream of becoming famous by committing mass targeted violence. Get better dreams, get better heroes, get better mothers. At his middle school, cops arrested Ashley Pardo, 33, who sports purple hair. Okay, we're not going to get with the purple hair because I've had purple hair and I'm still an okay mom sometimes and multiple face tattoos in her mugshot. No, we need to talk about the eyebrows. I don't care about the face tattoos. It's the eyebrows that I think are criminal. Look, I'm not into phrenology, which is the old thing where they used to test your head for criminal, bumps. But I'm telling you, the eyebrows do not lie. The eyebrows do not lie. If you do not trust God with the eyebrows he gave you, unless he gave you a unibrow, then shave that middle shit. Um, then there is obviously something wrong with you. Again, this is a Mo tactic and is probably not useful in the greater wide world. But anyhoozle, she is charged with aiding in the commission of T-word terrorism for helping her son plan to conduct a mass targeted violence on the Rhodes Middle School in, San Antonio. The same morning, the boy's grandmother, with whom he stayed occasionally, found him, quote, hitting a live bullet with a hammer. When she asked him where she got it, the youngster, whose age has not been revealed, replied that his mom gave it to him and that she had force multipliers and ammunition in her home. The grandmother searched the boy's room after he left and found a makeshift IED, a mortar style firework wrapped with duct tape, along with a long style force multiplier and magazines loaded with live, freedom seeds. There was also a handwritten note that mentioned mass casualty events along with their suspects and the number of victims that he would like to achieve. Now, the name of the mass unaliver who opened up fire in Christchurch, New Zealand at the mosque in 2019, Killing 51, was written on the device along with World War II references, a nod to supremacy. Now, I remember Mr. Hanky Clankety and from World War II, the failed Austrian painter. I don't remember him being a fan of anyone who was not blonde and blue-eyed, and I'm a little confused as to how this, gentleman who looks obviously if his mother has anything to do with it, of Hispanic descent, why you would choose someone who didn't like you as your hero, but none of this ish makes sense. Now, before Pardo came to take her son to school, he turned to his grandmother, who has not been identified, and told her that he was, quote, going to be famous. Now, Pardo's son arrived at school that morning wearing a mask, camouflage jacket, and tactical pants. Now, the boy was detained off campus and is being charged with the T word. Rhodes Middle School principal Felicimini, look, I don't know, Martinez, she did write a letter to parents. Please know that we take all potential threats seriously and act immediately to protect everyone in our care. We will always remain vigilant to ensure the learning. So here's my issue with this. We got the Crumblies, okay? We got the Crumblies because they didn't notice because his look, they should have seen signs. The kid is weird AF. But we charge the Crumbly. So is this thunder cow, this absolute degenerate gonna get charged too? I mean, are we gonna start holding some parents accountable for something? And parents that do this, I'm sorry, I think she has way more culpability than the Crumblies, but a jury saw it differently. Now, law enforcement began investigating Pardo's son in January after school officials became concerned about drawings he had done in school, including a map marked deletion route. He also had the school name written beside a, long force multiplier that he had drawn. Now, according to an affidavit cited by the outlet, he told investigators that he had a fascination with these kind of large casualty events. In April, he was suspended after looking up the Christchurch mosque shooting on a school-issued laptop. Later that day, he attempted self-deletion. These were all cries for help. This boy should have gotten help. These are all ideations that are very serious. And if you see your kiddos, not that I think my chat's going to do this, but any kids around you becoming very withdrawn and fascinated by these ideas, take them to a medical professional therapy person. Like, don't listen, but take them to somewhere where they can get help. Please, please. I'm glad this didn't turn into a major casualty event, but how many parents are out there doing this? I didn't think any, but this chick shows that it's possible. Now, Pardo knew about her son's behavior and had been in contact with local law enforcement, child protective services, and school officials. The mother allegedly brushed off his alarming behavior and defended his violent expressions and drawings. Now, Pardo was released. She was released on bond. What the hell is wrong with you, Texas? I thought you had sense. On a bond of $75,000 on Tuesday. Her next court appearance is July 17th. This is absolutely unconscionable that she's out. Look, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor. I'm a random mom who spends time on YouTube and does weird things with wigs. But if I can identify and notice a problem with letting people who are dangerous out of prison, could the legal system possibly take notice? That being said, Christmas came early for Mo. Mo loves not so ironic Gen Pop justice, and we have it today. So I thought I'd share with you after dealing with this soulless, Manson lamp woman. Sometimes Christmas comes early, and it did. A serial Tesla road rager got introduced to what we like to call in Mo's world Gen Pop justice. Gen Pop justice. S So he was kind of people didn't appreciate his attitude in prison, let's just put it like that. Karma took the wheel and Jesus, stepped back and just watched. The serial Tesla road rage driver who landed back behind bars for allegedly assaulting a teen driver and her mother in Hawaii last week was found beaten to a bloody pulp in prison. Nathaniel Radamak, 39, was assaulted by inmates at Halawa Correctional Facility. Now, it's in Hawaiian or it's a Hawaiian word, and I'm a butcher it with my Midwesternness, but that is where, and sir, It's an island. Almost everyone is related to their mom and them, and as I have explained through hillbilly, but it also seems to apply to Hawaiian culture, you mess with one of us, you're gonna get everyone's mom and them pissed off at you, especially a teen girl that you busted in the face. Let me tell you, their mom and thems have people in prison, and their mom and them is gonna tell them. So, I would do my dickery, my douchery, not on an island where everyone knows everyone. I don't know who needs that public service announcement, but I wouldn't do shit in a place where it's an island and everyone knows everyone, because 'cause you're gonna get it, dude. Now, this was found around Monday at 4:25 PM, according to the Hawaiian Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. I have always found that forceful rehabilitation sometimes works. Nathaniel Radamak was allegedly assaulted by other inmates in the housing unit at the correctional facility. The hot-headed driver sustained injuries to his face and torso and was taken to Queens Medical Center for treatment. Let's see if we can get a close up on his face. Well, again, if the gentle application of pressure to his nose hasn't changed his general demeanor, I don't know what will. Now, his assault comes after his arrest on May 8th for losing his temper and allegedly becoming violent with other motorists. Now, Radamak, who has been out on parole since August after he served only 10 months of a 5-year prison sentence, was speeding in a gray Tesla in downtown Honolulu when he raced past an 18-year-old driver parking her car on the street. Now, the female driver yelled at Radamak to slow down as he sped by them, prompting him to, of course, get out as you do and start arguing with the girl and the mother. Now, the girl's mother, Diane Ung, estimated that he was driving around 40 to 50 miles per hour as he was trying to teach her daughter how to parallel park outside their home. He was halfway in his car already and he says, "What did you say to me? You better shut your face for I come and do the same thing I did to her." Yeah, he basically came out, hit the teenager, and then threatened the mother of the teenager. Now, I will let you know I am not the most physically aggressive person, but you touch my children. Look, I'm not saying I know jujitsu. I don't. I don't. But I will go full Tasmanian devil allegedly in Minecraft. You touch one of my children, and let's just say I live in a small town and my collective mama nams are not always the nicest people. So I would keep my hands off everyone's children because you don't know who their mama nam is. Okay. If you cannot control yourself, but with the just being a human and kind and not laying your hands on people, then maybe the threat of another nasal adjustment will get you, although it seems that previous nasal adjustments haven't helped. So he laid hands on the mom and the daughter and went to prison where everyone knows everyone on an island. This is not his first tangle with the law. He in California, what got him 5 years was he was out assaulting people, damaging their cars in his little Tesla. So he's taken out tire irons, beaten cars, threatening people in California. And California, in their great wisdom, decided that 5 years, nah, we'll give him 10 months for good behavior. To which he went to Hawaii and did the same GD thing. Now, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation said that Radamak had served, quote, his full sentence as defined by law and was granted 424 days for time served while waiting sentencing, 212 for actual days in jail, and another 212 days for good behavior. So, let me just say that this picture made my day, and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna play but seeing him with his eyes dotted allegedly in Minecraft maybe made me feel happy just a little bit that, one douchebag got put in his place, although will the lesson be lasting when he apparently has had nasal reconstruction with, a behavioral component and still hasn't learned his lesson? I don't know, but I'm kinda here for it. That being said, let's get on to everyone's favorite part of this. And I will warn you, there might be curse words coming up because there is a really, really ick case. So it does involve a tiny little baby. So if you want to skip for the next 5 or 10 minutes, I get you because this case, I'm gonna lose it. That being said, let's bring Lord Chippy in because, Lord Chippy needs to take care of some people. I'm about done with some people.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
This absolute anal fistula, do not look it up. Do not look it up. I have already told y'all, do not look it up. It is gross. It's not good. It's basically where it's just not a good thing. Don't look it up. But he is one. Oh, and well, after that, happy birthday to your father, Nicholas. Sorry about that segue. This absolute genetic dead end that should never have been allowed to breed, and by the power vested in me by the Church of Mo and this here pen, I excommunicate you from humanity. You are now just a person that shares DNA with the human race, but is apart because you are not fully human. You lack a soul. And I would like to not be judged on your behavior. So I'm excommunicating you. You don't go here. You don't wear pink on Wednesdays, and screwed you sideways with a cactus. Quote, he squeezed his baby to unalivement. The dad who unalived an infant named Strawberry showed no remorse while claiming, quote, my baby is not real, as her mother worked 2 jobs. He receives his fate, which I hope is Lord Chippy and or Gen Pop justice. I swear to God. Florida, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Florida, I know you got mom and them's in prison, okay? Now, allegedly in Minecraft, there could be some justice of a general population type. I'm not encouraging it, but this population of prisoners tends to not like people that hurt children. In fact, to that point, Stefan, what's his face, that gross guy who unalived essentially his stepdaughter, has a bounty on his head. And I find myself, let me search, not giving 2 damns about it. Sorry. I know I'm working on it. I'm working on my kindness for humanity before the rapture comes. But as I have said, and as the pen has said, he is no longer human to me, allegedly. This is my opinion. Please feel free to, argue in the comments. A Florida man is headed for prison for viciously laying hands on his 4-month-old daughter, causing her to die and suffer 11 broken ribs, a skull fracture, and hemorrhaging in her spine. Jacob Kubai, 23, was sentenced to 30 years behind. 30 years. Florida, you have the DP and the legal one, not the, hub one. This dude gets 30 flapjack years. I'm trying not to curse because I know people put this on, when they're driving their kids, possibly not after the Jesus Six-Pack song, but some do. After he pled guilty to aggravated fucking manslaughter. Are you kidding me? Sorry. That aggravated manslaughter, Florida. What the hell? Florida. You have got to be kidding me. Now, I understand that there are legal things and maybe there was evidence that they didn't have, but I am feeling just a whole lot pissed off about this. Again, this is why I could not be a juror on any child case. And when I had jury duty, I was going to say whatever I had to get out of a kid case because I can't handle them. Because I would be the juror to be like, F this, he's guilty, let me out of here. Now, the state's attorney's office, 10th Judicial Circuit, said in a press release that he was in charge of his daughter's care while his wife worked two jobs. As Long Crime previously reported, and Judge Grady actually did a media press release on this. If you need more rage, Sheriff Grady does a great job. He calls filth for filth, and this is human filth. Now, Bartlow police were called around 8:30 p.m. on February 22nd, 2024 to Bartlow Regional Medical Center for a child in cardiac arrest. Now, medical personnel had helicopter flown the little girl named Willow, whom everyone called Strawberry, to a hospital in Tampa. Unfortunately, her wounds, her little body just couldn't take it, and she died 2 days later. Now, detectives with the Polk County Sheriff's Office later learned that that the father had rushed. Okay, the sperm donor had rushed the girl to the hospital after finding her unresponsive. Now, let me explain what you have to do to a child to break their spine when they're a baby. They are basically bendy little, yes, I found a bad touch doll last night, or a bendy John O'Keefe. Anywho, what he basically did was bend his baby like this and like that, and then hit her head or shook her. So I'm sorry, but where the hell wait, you know what? When Mo rules the world, when she is empress of the pettyverse for just 1 year, we're bringing back the public punishments. I'm done. Public punishments are back. I'm about done with people today. I knew this article was going to piss me off, but I wanted closure for this baby. I've followed this case since Judge Grady talked about it. I love Judge Grady. I'm a big old nerd. Uh, but I wanted to give closure because God bless it, little Willow deserves to have her story told. This jackass can go live in Gen Pop Justice land. Now, detectives with the Polk County Sheriff's Office later learned, or I'm sorry, now the father told investigators that he and the girl had dropped off his wife, Willow's mom, at work around 5 p.m., Sheriff Grady Judd said at a press conference following the arrest. Now, Kubai said that he was playing video games for a while and later went to Walmart around 6:40 to pick up some items for dinner. Returning, he claimed he fed the baby at 5:50 p.m. and checked her every 10 minutes until 8:10 p.m. when he found his daughter suddenly, for no reason, unresponsive. Now, he said that he tried to administer CPR. Now, CPR on an infant is different than a child. You only use your two fingers. And I doubt that this absolute reject that, negates the thought of further evolution in a forward way and or negates intelligent design. I don't know. I don't think he did that. Now, an autopsy revealed a skull fracture, multiple bruises to her forehead, 10 fractured ribs, hemorrhaging to her spine, and multiple layers of brain bleed because you have your scalp, skull, then you have a blood-brain barrier, then you have the actual brain. So it probably went scalp, bone, through that blood-brain barrier, and then all the way to his brain or to her brain. That is horrific. Now, investigators believe she suffered broken ribs when he squeezed her. He also hit her on her forehead at least 10 times with a hard object, at least is what he's admitted to. He started saying, quote, "None of this is real," and Judd said he claimed his wife wasn't real, his baby wasn't real, that this was a fantasy, and immediately started playing games in the interrogation room. He showed no remorse and has not shed one tear for his 4-month-old baby. At least that's what Sheriff Grady Judd said. I don't know what he said at the sentencing. I don't give a flying flapjack what he said at sentencing. I really don't give two craps about this dude. And I hope that he goes and no one puts money on his accounts and he is, a boyfriend of Bubba forever. Don't mess with babies. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. I don't care if you are a furry otherkin, with Jack pronouns. Keep away from kids, keep away from animals, and, don't ask, don't tell unless I ask. But touch children, touch animals, we're gonna have issues. Now, this incredible jackass who should have won a Darwin Award and saved the rest of us from, his taint of humanity, a man burning the body of a mother he met on a dating app sparked a catastrophic wildfire that killed two more people. You are a damn jackass. A California man has been convicted of 3 counts of murder and arson charges for killing a mother that he met on a dating app and starting a wildfire which claimed the lives of two more people as he attempted to burn the first woman's body. Victor Sorrento, 33, pled no contest on Friday in exchange for a stipulated prison sentence of 73 years to life. Bon voyage, butt monkey. I hope you enjoy. Well, screw you without lube. Uh, Now, according to the Vacaville Reporter, the Vacaville man committed the murders in August 2020. The prosecutors say first he unalived Priscilla Castro, 32, of Viejo, on or around August 16th, 2020, and then 82-year-old Douglas Mai and 64-year-old Leon Bourne in the ensuing fire. So he tried burning Castro's body on August 18th, 2020, according to a police report. Cal Fire responded to the blaze at the trailhead of the Puta Creek Wildlife Area near Highway 128 in Solano County, located between San Francisco and Sacramento that same day. Now, that particular fire destroyed hundreds of structures, many of them homes, and tore through thousands of acres in northern Solano County. After killing Priscilla Castro, the defendant Sorrento drove her up to the wildlife area, where he dumped her body. District Attorney Krishna Abrams said in her press release. Additional circumstantial evidence placed him in the area of Priscilla's body at the time of the Markley fire was started. But did they use Cellbrite? Because I've heard that they could be off by like a gajillion feet, or by Mr. Whiffen, like they're totally accurate. So are we still using Cellbrite evidence? I just don't know anymore. Canton has confused me. Now, unfortunately, both Mai and Bourne died in that fire. So basically, he is getting 73 years, and bon voyage, butt monkey, have fun with Bubba, is all I got to say about that. And Miss Castro, may you rest in peace. No one deserves to die the way you do, and neither did the two other gentlemen who passed, Mr. Bourne and Mr. Mai. So I am very sorry for all of you. But you're a dick, sir, and I don't like you, and I really hope that, again, God's mill runs slowly and relentlessly, but table flipping Jesus will get you with karma. I know I just made about like 100 Nielsens and misstatements in that one statement, but ugh. Well, what? Well, cheating is one thing, but it's not a death sentence, nor should it be, you douche. Shoulda never cheated. A man unalived the mother of his children while she was on the phone with her sister, screaming he has a knife. Then he picked up the line and said those words because he is a giant dickhole. A Minnesota woman's final chilling words were, "He has a knife, call 911, call 911." And they were captured in a frantic phone call to her sister just before the husband stabbed her 9 times in the head, neck, and chest area, according to police. Jason Philip Filaz, 48, has been charged with second-degree intentional homicide for unaliving the mother of his children, Danielle Warren, 32, on May 7th. According to a press release from the Dakota County Attorney's Office. A criminal complaint details how, Jason allegedly unalived Warren inside a Burnsville residence while she was attempting to call her sister for help. When the sister tried to call back after the call disconnected, Jason allegedly answered and told her she should have never cheated on me. You better call 911. Officers were called to the home of the sister about 9:38 a.m., with police reporting that they were familiar with the address due to recent reporting of DV. Upon arrival, officers noted blood on the front door handle. An officer went to the back of a home and was able to see the victim near a couch in the home through a window. She appeared unresponsive and there was a large amount of blood visible. Now, officers did force their way into the residence and saw the victim sitting upright against the couch. What appeared to be multiple slash or stab wounds. The blood on the victim was still wet in appearance, and there was a 12-inch kitchen knife with blood on the hallway. The victim was declared unfortunately deceased at the scene. Now, 2 of the victim's children, both 5 and 9 months, were present in the home. Okay. I know not everyone prays, but if you do, to, God, whoever, or the giant spaghetti monster, keep those kids in your heart, in your thoughts, in your prayers. All the victims, keep them in your heart. I know I do the campy lordshipy thing, but it always is to serve to try to name and shame the monsters, but bring the victim stories to you. So keep all of these victims, the 3 people who died because of that douchebag, the baby, and, this woman, her sister, and the children in your thoughts and prayers, because I can't imagine what they are going through, especially having to hear the crime. Now, before her death, Warren had called her sister and alleged that Jason was attacking her and freaking out. Warren pretended to be on the phone with the police to try to scare Jason into leaving, per the complaint. She was talking to her sister about coming to her house when Jason allegedly set on her. The victim started screaming, "He has a knife. Call 911, call 911." The victim continued to scream for the sister to hurry, and then the call disconnected. So again, this absolute douchebag and he probably didn't even have receipts. You know what's going to be the irony of this? I'm going to call it, I'm going to put $1 on it. Keep me honest. But what do you guess? What do you suspect if we go to trial? We're going to find this utter piece of crap was cheating and his wife or partner wasn't. What do you want to bet he has 9 side chicks, a couple illegitimate children, and his, girlfriend was staying faithful? Because I've been in a relationship with someone who's cheated, but always accused me of cheating with no evidence because he kept my phone on track. So honest to God, my read of this situation, this, festering boil on the taint of humanity was cheating and projected it all on her. Now, if there's evidence that she actually cheated, it's a dick move, but it's not a life sentence. So again, screw you. You robbed your children of their mother. Congratulations, you asshole. That concludes Mo's ragey part. We have some actual good for humanity stories, so hold on in there unless you need to take a kitten break, which I totally get because holy crap, these people. Well, non-people human garbage taints on the butt of humanity. That being said, what in the Walmart rapture is going on here? A couple booked a quiet Airbnb getaway. What they found inside was not on the listing. A doggo? That's why I got the puppy story. Now it is a little weird because it's my puppy story. A peaceful getaway can bring unexpected surprises, but few are as memorable as the one that greeted these recent Airbnb guests. When Milky, who prefers to go by his nickname, arrived at Milky, his name is Milky? Okay, whatever. He was met by not by a welcome basket or handwritten note, but by a pit bull named Xanthi, who was not listed in, in any of the descriptions of the Airbnb. It was a bit of a shock. At first, I thought we were entering the wrong house or that the dog had been left behind, Milky told people. Now, he and his partner had traveled to the area to scout wedding venues, but the dog and dog sitting were not on their itinerary. The story first shared in a viral TikTok captivated viewers with its blend of confusion and comedy. In the video, Milky can be heard asking, "Whose dog is this?" as Xanthi greets him in the living room. In a follow-up TikTok clip, Milky explained how he reached out to the property's host for clarification. "I sent a message to the owner just asking, 'Hey, what's going on?' The message read, "Hi, I'm a bit confused. We're staying at your Airbnb, and there's a dog here. Just checking, is this in fact your dog, or have we stumbled upon an abandoned dog?" In response, he received an unexpected, note as to Xanthi's appearance and presence. Hey, oh yeah, that's my girl Xanthi. Sorry that wasn't clear in the listing. She's basically the guardian of the space, deeply. Oh, wait, I'm reading this in the wrong voice. Hey, oh yeah, that's my girl Xanthi, and I'm sorry if it wasn't clear in the listing, but she's like basically the guard of the vibe in here. She's deeply in tuned with both the space and the energy. So don't worry because she's like super chill. She's just here to enhance the vibe, the host replied. Now, Milky says it became clear that Xanthi wasn't just any dog, but a central figure in the home. I think the more time we spent in the house and looked around, it was evidence. The room was dedicated to a dog with a sign on the door that said Paw Palace. It was really strange. I kept thinking, did I miss the memo? The host's instructions for Xanthi's care soon went viral on their own right, thanks to their spiritual flair. The whole spiritual care itself was pretty bonkers, referring to Xanthi being outside as a spiritual pilgrimage was next level. Among the guidelines, Xanthi only eats a spiritually aligned diet and filtered water to avoid disrupting her chakra balance. She also requires 2 hours of a sound bath, hearing ancient dog chants. What in the absolute mother ruffling hell is ancient dog chanting? Now, I've heard of throat chanting, which is funny, but these women have really good control of their vocal cords and kind of can sing from the back of their throat to their soft palate to the front of their mouth, creating different sounds almost akin to yodeling. But the hell. She only eats her special spiritually aligned diet, so no human food. I would feed that dog all the KFC I wanted. Like, I'm okay, no, I wouldn't because I wouldn't want to screw up someone's doggo and that could give them diarrhea because they weren't used to the food. But I'd want to. I really would. And no matter how much she tries to manifest, don't give her human food. If you feel called to, you can leave her out in the garden. She loves plants and absorbing, Earth's vibration. Just make sure the gate is shut so her spiritual pilgrimage doesn't take her beyond the property. Her water bowl is in the crystal room. If it ever needs refilling, only fresh filtered water, as tap disrupts his chakra balance. Why is she missing from he to she? It's one dog. What in the pronouns is going on here? She requires her daily 2-hour sound bath, featuring ancient dog chants to maintain inner spiritual peace. If you happen to be around, feel free to hum with her. It really strengthens the connection to the music. If she stares at you deeply, don't be alarmed. She's likely accessing your past lives, but she can't tell you what they are unless you're aligned with her. So do the chakras, okay? Also, thanks for the heads up on the Nespresso pods. I'll get some sent over ASAP. This heifer is getting them to watch her dog while she's on vacation. What in the shady hell is this? Now, Milky did not adhere to the rules immediately, but eventually he gave in. I did end up giving her filtered water and her spiritually aligned diet because I didn't want to disturb her flow or diet. Although I sometimes felt like an unpaid dog sitter. You were actually paying to dog sit, sir, not an unpaid. You were paying for the privilege to deal with this psychotic woman's dog. Have fun with that. I would be calling a lawyer, but that's because I am not nice and I like to screw with hippies. You say you have a crystal room. If it has those screaming bowls, I'm calling for a cease and desist. Now, despite the initial surprise and the unconventional pet care routine, Milky said the experience took a positive turn. Apart from having to look after the dog's chakras, it ended up being a pleasant surprise. She's very loving and licked a lot, so it was overbearing at times, but we embraced her, and she even came and looked at some wedding venues with us. The viral saga has made Milky more cautious when it comes to booking future accommodations. Airbnb was nice enough to give us a credit for the hassle, but next time I think we'll just stick to hotels. Now, a representative for Airbnb did not respond to people's request for comment. I mean, it's a beautiful doggo, don't get me wrong, but I think the doggo would rather have bacon and not give a crap about its chakras. That being said, I've never interviewed said dog, so I don't know. As for whether he'd stay at the same property again, Milky isn't so sure. I was looking for listings to share with some friends recently, and it appears after the incident, the property is no longer listed. If I'd have known, I don't think I would have booked the place. It was a cute thing in the end, but it was added stress on what was supposed to be a romantic weekend. I mean, if you need a dog sitter, maybe just hire a dog sitter. That being said, in our final, but it actually is kind of cute. So, in a funny, bittersweet way, a pilot 72 who died in a crash penned his own obituary detailing his close brushes with death. So, I thought it was just a self aware thing and kind of funny. And he is from Indiana because, hometown pride. A 72-year-old man who died in a small plane crash had the foresight to write up his own obituary before his death, which he packed full of charm and stories of his close calls. I'm completely dead now, Gary Wolfett wrote in his obituary. I'm surprised it took this long to happen. Now, on May 5th, Wolflet left Lafayette, Indiana in a small plane that he had spent 17 years building. The plane never made it back, and Wolfelt did not survive the crash in Ohio. When his obituary was published, readers were likely surprised to see that it was penned by himself. I had several close calls through my lifetime, and I guess I was just lucky that something didn't get me before now, he wrote. Now, according to Wolfheld, he had a long series of events and mishaps, which should have killed me years ago. Wolfelt felt his audience would want some examples, and he delivered. In one story, he recounted taking a fly ball to his skull during a Little League game. Sadly, his bodily sacrifice for the game did not translate into luck for his team, which he said lost 20-0. In another tell, Wolfert described an unfortunate encounter with his sister's horse. The animal kicked him in the gut, noting that any lower and I'd be singing soprano for the rest of my life. Gravity almost got Wolfelt twice before his final plane flight. In one instance, a brick chimney collapsed and nearly crushed him, and in another, he took a tumble down the stairs, and a metal safety gate came tumbling down after him. Despite the parade of mishaps, he remained positive and gave thanks for the important things in life. Thank goodness for pain-killing drugs. Amen, brother. Amen, he wrote. Wolfelt wasn't all, jokes, though. Beneath the humor, he pondered the decisions he'd made in life. For example, never having children, but he did love dogs. Generally, a dog will only bite you when you have it coming. This is not the case with many people, he noted. At one point, the 72-year-old apologized for past wrongs, noting that he was far from a perfect person, and allowed that he did try to learn from mistakes and shortcomings as I grew older. He also shared his pride in another decision he had made, remaining faithful to his wife Esther for the entirety of their 40-year marriage. I stayed lovingly married to the same woman for a long time, he wrote. Hopefully, if there's life after death, I'll end up with Esther and all of our dogs, in a sunny field of tall grass playing music all around me. I just thought that was a nice way to end it. Plus, he's from Indiana. Plus, I mean, if I have any say in it, I will be writing my own obituary. Now, it will be about a gajillion and 12 pages long. The last 170 pages of those are just going to be people I would like to give double deuces to. I will have the person reading my eulogy say every name, and everyone is free to do an FU, I was right, per, razor fist for me at my funeral. Anyhoozle, thank you guys so much for joining me. I know your time. You guys have a lot of things to choose from, but I appreciate you guys hanging out in the mornings with us. So have a great day. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire because kindness doesn't equal doormat anymore. If you're heading over to Karen Reed, I will be sending y'all over there. It is day, well, either 16 or 17. I went back to Baker's method because he didn't count the day we didn't have. So there you go. I will see you guys in just a second over there. Bye, you guys.